What's going on YouTube? Uberman here. So I promised a video whenever I would finally get my MRI results. I was going to share them with you. Well, it's been pushing 3 weeks since I got my MRI done. I have made numerous phone calls to the neurologist. I've been bounced around. I've been talking to a answering service. I have left messages. And basically, this is great. Let me tell you what I was told. Okay, this MRI was over $5,000, okay? It's like $5,064 for 2 MRIs, one with contrast, one without. Um, you would think you'd get treated with some kind of respect, some kind of dignity. Well, not so much. So I keep calling, and I finally get told if they haven't called you about your results, that's a good sign. That means there was nothing wrong. Otherwise, they would have called you about it. And I'm thinking that makes me feel good. I'm thinking, okay, that's good. But still, I'd like to know officially the results from my neurologist. Either way, it makes me feel good. I'm feeling like that's good news. But at the same time, I had the EMG done. I had the EMG. It wasn't pleasant. It wasn't really that bad either, And they didn't find anything wrong. And that's the point when the neurologist said it's going to be in your neck. So that leaves me wondering, if the MRI came back clear, where's my nerve damage coming from? Why is my hand going numb? Why am I losing strength? Why do I have a burning, fiery sensation under my arm? Why do I have a cramping in my forearm? And why do I have a stabbing pain in my tricep? Why are my fingers numb? Something's not right. I know that it's not all in my head. I've got a problem. So it's had me really bothered. Finally, I decided enough of the BS. I'm going to drive down to the neurologist, which you shouldn't have to do after spending that kind of money on an MRI, right? You shouldn't have to drive all the way downtown and deal with the BS. As I'm walking out the door, I get a phone call from a restricted number. Now, usually I don't answer those, okay? I don't know who it is, but if you're calling me and trying to block your number, I probably don't want to talk to you. Turns out, for whatever reason, I decided to answer it. It was my neurologist. They had some bad news. The results are, without being too specific, degenerative disc disease, abbreviated D.D.D. So, I don't know. It sounds bad. Degenerative disc disease. It sounds like something hereditary, or is it something I caught? Degenerative, along with disease, makes it sound like, this is something that's going to affect more discs, and it's going to cause me to just, who knows what it's going to cause. I'm freaking out. I spent the good part of yesterday very, very stressed. I'm eager to learn. You guys should have seen me. Okay, when it comes to cars, if I have an issue that I haven't encountered before, if it's something new, a new type of vehicle I'm working on, I'll spend hours researching. I've got no problem sitting on a computer watching YouTube videos, just like you guys watching my videos. I do a lot of research. I make sure I know what I'm doing. I make sure I'm very well educated before I jump into a problem and try to fix it or even diagnose it, for that matter. When it comes to my body, I take it to a whole nother level. Some people might even call it obsessive. I spent quite a long time trying to figure out what this is, what happened. And as it turns out, I've learned a lot. I've learned so much about degenerative disc disease. It's not the end of the world. I'm nervous. I'm scared. There's a lot involved. There's a lot of complications that can crop up from different procedures. So I'm worried. I'm very concerned. But the main problem is my index finger on my right hand. It has now gone numb almost all the way up to this top knuckle here. Now, on the back side, it's not numb. On the bottom side, nothing but fuzzies. Used to it was just the tip. Now it's gone up to, it's about here. Okay? I have some numbness in my thumb, not nearly as much, but I feel a tingling in my thumb. I also have quite a bit of numbness on this tip, and you can feel it start gradually going away to about right here. As it turns out, as I did a lot of research on your back, your spine, and how the discs work and how the vertebrae, I didn't know any of this. Your vertebrae have holes all through them. The spinal cord runs up and down through those holes, and then on the sides, you've got more tunnels where your nerves come out through C6 and C7, and that apparently is where my issue is, probably right around C7, since the majority of the problem seems to be in these two fingers. That means that the disc in between has shrunken. It's drying up and it's shrinking from a traumatic injury. And as it shrinks, it pinches the nerves that are coming out of the canals. One runs down this side and one runs down this side. And as the vertebrae collapse on top of themselves, it pinches the nerve. And obviously it's the nerve on this side that's coming out of my back is being pinched, and it's causing the problems. And as time goes on over the last 6 months, it's progressively gotten worse. My primary care physician has told me that chances are the neurologist is going to want to do a series of 3 steroid injections, 1 per week for 3 weeks. And since I don't know anything about this, I said that I guess that's okay. He told me they're going to take a 6-inch needle and stick it in my back, and I don't know about that. I came home and did some more research, and some of the things that can go wrong from that shot are pretty severe. Very, very serious side effects if things go wrong. It can range from an infection, a weakening of your immune system. They could puncture too far through the spinal cord. If the fluid gets on the spinal cord, it will deteriorate it. You can end up paralyzed. You can end up dying. I mean, there's a lot of issues with the steroid injections, on top of the fact that I learned that it is not FDA approved to inject the steroids into your back. It was never intended. This is what they call an off-label use. Apparently it's allowed, but it is not approved by the FDA. Steroids were never really meant to be injected into your back. On top of that, it gives immediate, temporary relief. Typically, it doesn't last all that long before you have to keep doing it, and eventually it gets to the point where you need to take some other kind of action. Surgery is another option. Don't know about that either. Apparently they cut you down the side of your neck, and it is not something I say. I don't like that either. So I'm going to be looking at some alternative methods. I will be talking to my neurologist on the 17th of November to discuss some of these things. Right now, I'm really leaning more towards a chiropractor, possibly acupuncture, but I don't know if acupuncture is really going to do any good. I mean, this is actually a problem, a physiological problem. This is not a, it's not a, and I also, could be the reason I get so many headaches is from this too. Apparently, headaches is a side effect of this as well, and I get lots of headaches. I've got some new medications. My doctor gave me Tramadol and Mobic. I just love changing prescriptions. It's great. You start getting adjusted to one, and then you get on a whole new set. But anyway, guys, I'm going to cut the video there. Just wanted to share with you guys what it is. It is definitely degenerative disc disease. And, on the 17th, I'll talk to my neurologist, and we'll see where she wants to go. But at this point in time, I do not feel like I will be okay with surgery. I do not feel like I will be okay with steroid injections either. Really leaning more towards a chiropractor at this point. And the thing is, hopefully this video finds somebody and can help you before you do something stupid like I did. This injury, now finding out that it's C6 and C7 that are giving me the issues. I was working for Sony Digital Audio Disc Corporation through a company called Weststaff, a temp agency in Terre Haute, Indiana. This has been quite some time ago. I mean, this was probably 2000, 2001 maybe, something like that. I don't know for sure. But I got injured picking up a big pallet. And my pallet guy that was supposed to pick the pallets up and move them out of my way never showed up. And you have to keep the machines running, for production. Basically, we produced video games for the PlayStation 2. Maybe it was PS3. I don't even know. But anyway, pallets were stacked so high. I mean, there's no way I could reach them. So I took this giant pallet, picked it up over my head, and I tried to throw it. And when I went back with it and pushed forward, something snapped. I don't know what happened, but I heard a crack in my neck. And next thing I remember, I woke up on the floor. I decided to go to the emergency room. I don't remember if they did x-rays. I don't know exactly what they did, but they told me I had a lump, like, and I still have it. Always, it kind of seems like it comes and goes. For the most part, it's always there. They told me I had damaged something in C6. I specifically remember that. Without a doubt, they told me it was C6. And now finding out that the nerve damage is coming from C6 and C7. I had 2 kids. I needed to work. I tried going through workers' compensation, but they weren't sending me a check. I was going to all these doctors, but I wasn't getting a check. I was barely making it check to check, guys. I called and asked if I could get back to work. Sony said absolutely, as soon as I sign a waiver releasing them from all future liability. I was a kid. Granted, I was an adult, but I'd never dealt with anything like this. All I knew is I needed to go to work and make money. I didn't know what I was doing. Didn't know I'd have future problems. I didn't know that at 35 years old I would have neck problems. Not a clue. I didn't know what I was doing. Their lawyer sent me some papers. I signed the papers. I went back to work. They took my badge and told me I was no longer needed. So I lost my job, and from what I understand, I lost any type of compensation for this injury. And here I am, 35 years old, with some pretty serious back problems that I get to deal with now. So, moral of the story, don't sign your life away, Anyway, as always, thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Be safe out there, and Uber on.